Welcome to US Movie Reruns. The title of this movie is Batman and Superman, Battle of Supersons. Remember to subscribe for more movie reruns. Caution, spoilers ahead. The movie opens with Superman's backstory as parents secure him gently inside a rocket to escape their dying planet. They sent him to Earth to save his life because he would have perished with them. We all know the Superman origin story. However, Superman marries a woman named Lois Lane and they now have a son named Jonathan. Jonathan is unaware of his father's true identity and thinks he is only a reporter. Jonathan sighs as he reads the news and silently wishes that his parents had normal jobs. He thinks that his parents are just a boring couple with nothing interesting ever happening in their lives. He is absolutely clueless. However, Lois leaves quickly and warns Jonathan not to look for his birthday present, but he does the exact opposite. He almost had the gift open when his dad called him. Clark Kent, also known as Superman, has returned from his job. Jonathan quickly tidies up his room and runs downstairs to his father, like he was never there. They are happy to see each other and they instantly hug. Both of them spend some quality time hanging out together and doing chores around the yard. Once they were done, they lay in a stack of hay under the clear night sky. Jonathan complains that his father is never here and he misses him as he is always away. His father assures him that he will understand him one day. However, Clark notices something falling down from the sky. It looks like a shooting star, but it was something else. He is quickly alerted and tells Jonathan to wash up while he goes to inspect it. It was a watchtower and before it can reach Earth, Superman manages to stop it. He also manages to save Green Arrow, who is inside, but as soon as Superman leaves, something else that had entered the ship attacks Green Arrow. The next day, at the baseball game, Jonathan sees that his father isn't in the audience. He gets out without scoring a point and leaves the field disappointed. His mother tries to cheer him up but nothing seems to work. After getting home, Clark returns and Lois suggests that maybe it's time for Jonathan to know about his father's true identity. Clark goes up to Jonathan's room to talk with him, but as he enters he sees Jonathan has gotten out through the window and is running away. He runs through the fields in anger when suddenly a laser beam is emitted from his eyes, causing an explosion. Scared and heartbroken, Jonathan hides himself in the barn thinking something is wrong with him. But his father shows up with glasses and his costume, revealing to Jonathan that he is Superman as he floats in the air. Jonathan excitedly runs around the house, but Lois is worried for him. He showed no signs of having any superpowers and they had always thought that he was normal. However, Clark is optimistic that Jonathan only inherited heat vision from him. He takes Jonathan for a ride. This is probably the most exciting experience he's had so far. Suddenly a foul stench hits their noses and Clark realizes that they are in Gotham City. There they see Batman brutally fight his opponents, then he hands him over to the police with little to no effort. For Jonathan, it was all a dream, like Biggs said. Finally, meeting his idol Batman, who takes him to the Batcave. There he meets Damian for the first time. Damian is Batman's son and just like his father, he is ice cold and weary of new people. Batman assures Damian that they mean no harm and instructs Damian to set up Jonathan in a meta-analyzer. After examining him, Batman tells Clark that he cannot detect any other superpower. But maybe if he is confronted with another traumatic experience his powers may resurface. Damian is eavesdropping on their conversation and decides to test this theory by pushing Jonathan off the edge. As Jonathan falls down, Clark springs into action and grabs him before he could hit the ground. Batman scolds Damian for what he did and asks him to get out. Superman sympathizes with Damian as he knows what he has gone through in his life and forgives him. However, Jonathan cannot believe that his father wouldn't hold Damian accountable for his actions against him. He leaves when Superman asks him to give him and Batman 2 minutes alone. Superman asks Batman if he had received word from Green Arrow, but is surprised to find out that Green Arrow is still out of touch. As they are having this conversation, Jonathan wanders off and explores the Batcave where he sees Damian. Damian is being told by Wonder Girl that he isn't welcomed in Teen Titans because he is too violent. Jonathan feels bad for him and tries to start a conversation, but he is surprised by a cow coming out of the shadows. Jonathan offers to milk the cow, but Damian warns him to stay away from him and his cow. Batman and Superman talk with Green Arrow through live transmission, but they quickly realize that something is off. Superman takes Jonathan home. He sleeps as soon as he hits the bed. Meanwhile, Liz informs Superman that in some areas of America the crime rate has dropped to 0. It's more than a coincidence. Superman and Batman go to the watchtower to inquire but become worried when they notice the unsettling silence. Superman told Batman to leave as soon as he used his X-ray vision, but it was too late. The Martian Manhunter comes up behind them and a starfish organism comes out of his mouth and attacks them. The next day, Jonathan wears the Superman suit and glasses to school when some bullies start hassling him. They provoked him to a point where he pushed one of the bullies, who fell face first to the ground. Jonathan then realizes that he also has super strength along with his heat vision. Back at the Batcave, Damian is still languish over about what Teen Titans did to him. Suddenly, Batman comes up behind him and the same starfish-looking organism crawls out of Batman's arm, but Damian's quick reflexes allow him to turn and kill it almost immediately. Batman looks like a zombie and his body begins to shake, and another starfish comes out of his mouth and covers half of his face. Damian was horrified and his father seemingly did not recognize him. He attacks Damian, who tries to defend himself but fails and is thrown off the edge. Superman, who is obviously infected, informs Batman that all the members of the Justice League have been infected now and nothing stands in their way. Batman leaves and it turns out that Damian survived the fall with the help of a grapple hook. Meanwhile, the principal is busy scolding Jonathan for beating up the bully. Unexpectedly, the Batmobile landed on the playground. Jonathan quickly promises to never do it again and leaves the office as soon as possible. Jonathan was surprised to see Damian and inquired what he was doing here. Damian explains that their fathers have been infected and they need to save them. Suddenly, Lois shows up and asks Jonathan to leave with her. He was about to go when Damian stops him and asks him to test her first. She fails the test and it becomes apparent that she too has been infected. They both ran as she gave chase. They managed to escape her in the Batmobile, but Lois was attached to the Batmobile as they flew. In the air, she tries everything to get inside. She was almost successful, but Jonathan uses his heat vision and kills the organism attached to her face with critical precision. She falls into the pond while they fly away. They don't know where to go for help, so Damian takes him to the only place that comes to his mind. It's a place hidden far away in the mountains. The only way to open the doors is by using a key that can only be lifted with super strength. Jonathan was able to successfully open the door. As they stepped inside, they were attacked by the super dog Crypto. Jonathan and Damian try everything, even throwing grenades at him, but nothing affects him. He survived every attack. However, both of them were thrown through a wall, and as they stood up they saw two enormous statues standing right in front of them. However, Crypto tries to attack them again, but this time a voice stops him and a hologram of Jonathan's grandfather appears, informing Crypto that Jonathan is Superman's son, and the dog goes from DEFCON 4 to Scooby-Doo, showering Jonathan with kisses and licks. Damian gives the artificial embodiment of Jonathan's grandfather a sample of the organism he collected, and he tells him it is a spore from the alien known as Starro. It's like a hive mind that controls all the spores, and their plan is to take control of the population of any planet they are deposited on. Damian and Jonathan explain that it all started when their fathers went to space. This could only mean that the mind is up there. They must go to space to defeat it. Lois goes to her office and finds her co-worker Jimmy. The parasite left her, but she is weary of everyone around her. She first inspects Jimmy and makes sure that he is not infected, then she tells him everything. They must find a way to broadcast the warning to everyone. Jimmy mentions that only a president can do it. This is how they are going to warn everyone. Meanwhile, Jonathan and Damian have to go to space, and the only thing available to take them there is the same small rocket Superman came in when he was just a baby. It was a tight fit, but it could work. They bid farewell to Crypto and Jonathan's grandfather and are off to space. Once they enter the watchtower, the infected Justice League members immediately attack them. Meanwhile, Lois goes to the president asking for his help despite their differences in the past. The president agrees to help her if she publishes an article apologizing for everything she had said about him in the past. She unwillingly agrees and they had a deal. While at the watchtower, Damian and Jonathan have been made prisoners. Starro appears before them and tells them that he plans to not only take over their planet but also others around it. Starro thinks that he is helping humans by taking away their free will. This angers Damian, who tries to attack him, but he is arrested by the infected heroes. Starro orders the Justice League to eliminate them. Green Arrow takes aim and shoots an arrow toward Damian, but Jonathan gets in between and is hit. Damian sits by his side and starts to confess that he just started to like him. Jonathan surprises him when he sits up straight and they both laugh, proving he is also indestructible. They are no longer scared of anything anymore and fight the heroes with bravery. On Earth, the president does the live transmission, but midway it is revealed that he is in fact infected by the alien. Lois comes from behind and uses flame from her lighter to burn the spore on his face. Jonathan is also seeing this on the monitor in the watchtower. Before the transmission cuts, Lois manages to tell Jonathan that he can eliminate spores using his laser eyes. They defeat all the other Justice League members but are helpless when it comes to their fathers. Nothing seems to work against them. Jonathan helps Damian in tackling Batman, while he steals the kryptonite ring from him. Damian wears it and fights with Superman while Jonathan struggles against Batman. Both of them seem to be losing their fights, but in the end, by using their powers and abilities, they manage to defeat them. However, the only way to eliminate the hive mind is if they burn the watchtower. They get all the Justice League members into an aircraft and send them off to the Earth. Then both of them stay behind. After all, being a hero is all about sacrifices. Jonathan finally understands. So they went to the control room where they are about to execute their plan, but Starro attacks them. Jonathan falls but quickly grabs the edge with one hand while the other holds on to Damian. His leg is in the grasp of one of Starro's tentacles. Damian instructs Jonathan to use a laser beam on it, and he follows through. Suddenly the fire engulfs the watchtower as it approaches the Earth at high velocity. Jonathan and Damian run to safety. Starro stares at the flame with fear in his eye as the flames completely engulf him. Meanwhile, on Earth, every human being is regaining their free will. The spores and the connection between the mind is lost. Damian and Jonathan sit peacefully as they reminisce about how they never thought this would be their doom. But suddenly, the satellite comes to a halt and Jonathan is surprised to see his father, who is holding it in place. As soon as they land, Jonathan runs up to Superman and hugs him. Damian reluctantly walks up to Batman, who surprisingly takes him into a warm hug. Though surprised at first, Damian soon gives in to it. The Teen Titans inform Damian that they have taken another vote and want him to join, but Damian has other pressing matters to attend to. They all go to Jonathan's baseball game. This time around he doesn't miss the ball and hits a homer. Sitting on top of a tank, Damian pushes Jonathan off of it as a birthday present, and when Jonathan hits the Earth, Damian concludes that he still cannot fly. Thanks for watching Movie Reruns. If you enjoy this recap, consider subscribing to our channel.